Hey, you guys, and welcome to this week's episode of Gay Like Me Live. And this is going to be an interesting episode because now, normally, this is a podcast for the LGBTQ people of color. And I want to address why you say the word people of color because I saw in one of our comments that a person was like, "Why do you say people of color? That diminishes black people." Blah this and blah that. But I say people of color because it's just not for black people. It's for black and brown people. It's for Indian, Hispanic, and all this. So that's why I say for people of color. But this week we have a guest that has a lack of color, to say the less. To say less. But Parish A is, known through the black gay culture and the black gay community, but she also has a little bit of controversy that comes along with her being in the community. And I've known her for very long time, and we've had a convert. And I called her and was like, "Hey, I would love to talk to you about this. Are you down?" And she said, "You know what? Yes, let's do it." So without further ado, let me bring you guys Parish A. There we go. Hey,
Hi,
bro.
hi.
How are you?
I was over here laughing.
I was like, I
I
had to
was
get the
gonna
introduction
scare you.
right.
I was gonna scare you and not be on the camera and be like, "Hello," like let you know.
um, but I'm so Paris. I remember meeting you, but was it in your hometown?
No,
Where was
this
I
is
at?
Chicago.
We was in Chicago. So I remember you long time, like years ago.
Yeah,
And I was like, who?
at least over a decade.
Yeah. And I was like, who is because you were always fashionable. So I was like, who is this lady? Then I remember seeing you again in Atlanta, and we were at tracks was out at the skating ring, and you had on this black jumpsuit with these pointy shoulders. I was like, this bitch is done, So and then you end up coming and moving to Atlanta. But I want to kind of dive into who you are because I think that a lot of people just don't had a chance to talk to you about that, and people just have a lot of assumptions about you that we just didn't nobody cared to kind of get into. And I want to
They
kind of talk
didn't care
about
to understand or question. They just chose to judge, probably.
that. So I wanted this kind of to start off. We want to start from the beginning and to kind of work our way up to who you are now. But at every beginning of the show, I always ask if you can put Parish A into 3 words. What would you say those 3 words are?
Um, Over the top. If not that, I would put over the top for one word, even though
Uh-huh.
it's three. Um, Misunderstood and intro/extrovert.
Okay. I can
Which
see
I don't think a lot of people realize that about me.
that.
So
Now I will say that so for some of you guys that's just not being introduced to Parish A. So like I said, Parish A is she's one of the girls of Atlanta. She's a staple in the black gay community, but she's not black. And and that causes a lot of issues and controversy and things. And people say that you try to rip for the black culture, that you're a culture vulture, or that you want to be black. So before we get into those statements, I want to, like I said, get to know who you are and how we got to this point. So where are you from?
I am from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 90 minutes away from Chicago, north.
Okay.
So I'm in the Midwest, like the northern side, almost near Canada, right across the water from Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
So Chicago, Milwaukee, Detroit, Minneapolis, those are all Cleveland. Those are all kind of like the main areas that people would know me or my roots or if someone's from the Midwest, they're probably from those kind of areas, to be honest.
Yeah, because I'm from Toledo, so I know.
Right down the street.
Right down
Oh,
the street.
you're from Ohio, yeah.
Yeah, I'm from Toledo, Ohio. So growing up, when did you know that there was something different about you?
In terms of where I fit in, or in terms of being gay, or in
Being
terms
well, in
of
terms of being gay.
okay. When people ask me like, so when did you come out? I'd be like, I never did. There's
Mm-hmm.
never a time I had to tell anyone that I was gay.
Mm-hmm.
Never a time.
Mm-hmm.
My mom is just like me. She's worse than me, actually. She was putting makeup on me in fifth, sixth grade to cover up acne. Um, I was getting my hair highlighted like third, fourth, fifth grade. Like literally almost to the point you would think she wanted a girl and not necessarily her son,
Mm-hmm.
looking back at it. But I've always been feminine. I've always known there was something different. I think probably third grade, it might be the year. I'm just thinking of like the age.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, I specifically remember I was in, all the boys in the school had a birthday party. It was a sleepover. And it was like a little rich boy in the school. So everyone went to his house. And all the boys were there, and they made me get on, like, you know, in the basement, there's those big poles,
Mm-hmm.
and like act like I was a stripper on the pole. And I remember one of the boys touching me, and I was like, okay, that's when I knew, and I think that's when everyone else knew,
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, we don't need to invite him back to the sleepover. I don't
Now,
think
when
I've
did
ever
you?
had a male straight friend
Uh-huh.
until recently, just getting older. But as a child, like middle school, high school, never had, like, you never see me with the guys.
Mm-hmm. Now, when did you have a name for what you were?
Um, well, first, I guess we would have to identify what I consider myself.
Well, oh yeah, well that's true. So what do you consider yourself?
I consider myself a male, a
Mm-hmm.
very feminine male. Some people call it a see you next Tuesday. Some people call it androgynous. Some people call it a butch queen up in pumps.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what any other words you probably would know too, but I consider myself just to be a very, very feminine male. By nature, I am feminine. Like my house is always clean. I'm always cooking. There's no hair on my body usually. I try not to be like. There's nothing masculine per se about me except that I am a male.
Mm-hmm. But what I mean by because when you grew up, when you were growing up, we
Okay, so
know that.
when did I start expressing femininity?
Well, no, not when you first express the femininity. It's like you knew something was different about you, but you know that we didn't really know what gay was. We just knew that we were different. So what I'm asking, when did you know that the word that you were was gay?
Okay, I for sure knew the first time. There used to be a show called Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. I know you remember it. There was a guy named Carson Kressley on the show.
Yes.
I was probably like fourth grade, fifth grade, something like that, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
The minute I seen him, I immediately identified with him. Like my hair was the same. Like that's how I learned a lot about labels and what they were wearing, and I just immediately gravitated towards that. So probably in like fifth grade, like right before middle school, because my middle school was in the grade school, but when you got to middle school, you had to wear uniforms, and that's where it started to become okay. Matthew is not wearing the boy clothes. I was playing with it, wearing Uggs. Like this is like fifth grade, you guys. Like Paris Hilton wearing Uggs. I'm going on eBay and buying them here because they're sold out. I'm wearing D-square little hoodies with like little penises on them. That's what the designers used to have. Like very weird stuff that immediately like rips. Remember everyone used to wear the ripped jeans? Abercrombie, Hollister, but mine had the rips all the way up the ass. Like it was definitely looking back at it like, yeah, that's a queen.
Now, did you have any traumatic experiences when you were a youth? Because everybody want to just say that when you're gay, you had to be molested, you had to be
Nope.
you.
Never once in my life have I had anything, a predator or someone coming on to me or anything like that at a young age. I never had. But I will say I always had very positive experiences. I think a lot of people that have those type of experiences where maybe someone molested them, touched them, made some type of move on them,
Mm-hmm.
it's because it's not accepted. Like I have a very fabulous, he's my great uncle. His name is
Mm-hmm.
Fred. Fred was friends with Georgia O'Keeffe, the painter. Like he was known around town. He's like 67 years old and has little 20-year-olds riding with him in the car all over Milwaukee. Like he was very well known. So I always had that. He only was in my family till I was probably about 5 or 6 and he passed away.
Mm-hmm.
But I always had that type of reassurance, like this is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, my mother also as well. The majority of my life in the beginning, growing up, was with my mom, not my father. She never once made me feel like I was weird. I was different. It was always like, you're fab. Like you're
Mm-hmm.
fab. Like this is what fab. Like she was fab, so you gonna be fab too. Like there wasn't any doubt in my mind to make me feel like I was not supposed to be the way I am. And no one ever made me feel guilty. So I am very happy and thankful for that because a lot of people don't have that.
Mm-hmm. Now I know you don't mention much of your father. So how did your father deal with all of this?
So, okay. Growing up, he always knew me. My mom and my father got divorced when I was 2.
Mm-hmm.
Instantly always was with her. She got remarried. Um, Never really was with my dad. He was abusive, no shade in the beginning. Not because I was gay, just because I was bad.
Mm-hmm.
Bad as hell. Um, I think I started working at Forever 21, and I was only 14. I was a freshman in high school. Like they basically changed the paperwork because I wasn't supposed to be working that young.
Mm-hmm.
And so don't sue us. But I started like buying women clothes more, wearing them more. I started wearing heels in probably like 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
To probably not on an everyday basis, but for sure, I remember like middle way of freshman year of high school, I had on heels. They was some Payless, 13 wide, half speed bump, peep toe. I had black, white, and pink, like little espadrille shoes, and that was like my first heel. And he never really seen me like that. And
Mm-hmm.
I think the first day was he came and surprised me at my job, and I was like, literally 14, and I was like, makeup. He had already seen that kind of stuff. I guess probably during that time. This is like MySpace,
Mm-hmm.
Jeffree Star. I think they kind of and the funny thing I will say, and this is where we're gonna go to the race thing. I think white people have a little bit more acceptance when someone is playing, or because growing up there's the Hot Topic kids and the goth kids, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing. David Bowie and Queen and Boy George. It's like, oh, they're cool. Michael Jackson. I don't really know too many figures in the black world that, and when I say black, I don't want to even get offended because I'm gonna say I'm white and I'm gonna say you're black. That's just
Right.
like,
No,
I'm
no,
not gonna take
we're
the
here.
time to say Chinese American. No,
Right.
I'm white. So black community, I didn't really see. I don't think there really are any that it's accepted because even Prince might wear a little something, but it's not dramatic how some of the other ones are. So I didn't think he thought that, but the minute you started seeing me like with inspired looking Marc Jacobs bags and it was starting to become like, huh? And I remember I went a couple years later, once I graduated high school, I went to jail, and we ain't gonna talk about that. That's a whole nother show. But I went to jail and I was gone for like 60 days. And he said when I got out, I would live with him. And I'm like, okay, cool. So he's like, I'm going to get all your stuff from your mom's house. Little do I know, now I've amassed a collection of clothes, shoes, bags, purses, jewelry, handkerchiefs, belts. That was
Mm-hmm.
all at the Goodwill. I think he didn't understand it until he started to see me move to Atlanta and blossom and take maybe what's my strength and turn it into some type of profession or brand or something like that. That's when he was always fine with me being gay. That's never been a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because I always played sports. I done did basketball, swimming, tennis, baseball, volleyball, soccer, basketball, like everything but any sport I was competed in school except football.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody tackling me. And wrestling. Because if we tackling, we
Well,
gonna
they
be
weren't attacking you then. They tackling you
if
now.
they tackling me, we gonna be something else. So but that was the first time that he kind of was like, no, this is not acceptable. And then nowadays though, me and him are actually way closer than I am with my mother. We're very close.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has pictures of me all over my house. Like I'm like, where did you even get these pictures? Oh, on your Instagram because you didn't want to send them to me. And he's definitely like shows all of his friends. I know that some of his old white friends are looking like, what in the okay. But besides that, I never really had any odd experiences.
Now, so let's talk about your surroundings because, like I said, you're now so engulfed in the Black culture. So was you raised around that? Is that what?
So the thing about Milwaukee is one of the number one. You wouldn't think it, but it's one of the most segregated cities in America. Like we'd have to Google it, but it's at least in the top 10. So if you're Black, you live on the north side. If you're Hispanic, you live on the south side. If you're white, you live like to the west in the suburbs. The suburbs are to the west, and the east is on the lake is downtown, and just anything is downtown. Like students, kids like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of somewhere like right in the middle. So Atlanta doesn't really have number streets. And I'm sure Ohio is like this too. It's name streets and number streets.
Right.
So if you live on 60th or anything up 60th, 60th, 68th, 72nd, 81st, 91st, 104th, you don't live in the hood.
Mm-hmm.
If you live on anything 60th and down, you don't live in the best area.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes probably 20 miles. And that's what people kind of have in their head. I grew up on 59. So you get what I'm saying? So it's like I'm right at literally everyone around me was either old white people, Black families, like kind of starting the same way my family would be at the time, younger families, or older Black families. So it kind of was more of a mix, to be honest. Once I moved in with my mom, I would say probably high school time, that's when she lived in a really great area. And my dad actually lived in an even worse area. He had moved and he was on, I don't remember the number, but he was not in a great area. And then once I started to not really deal with either one of them, I just used to start being at my friend's house to the point that two of my best friends, their moms were like, who I would have the school call if there was a problem. They wouldn't even call my mom. Like it became like, well, why is she here? Like, that's not his mom. Like it used to be very, very difficult. Looking back, I could see why people would think nowadays, like, well, why does he act this way or why is he around this? Because the people that meant the most to me in my life, besides my mother and father, were Black. Everyone around me was Black or mixed or whatever. Armenian, there's a couple different things in the gumbo. So, but it definitely isn't just like I decided to wake up and be hip or something or down one day. I don't think it works like that, or I wouldn't have friends of different ethnicities that really accept me and embrace me. Middle school, high school, grade school, I've always been, I was always popular because of what I look like, but it wasn't like I was like with the cheerleaders and the sports players. I was always with the other type of people. So not the geeks, but the people that are like, like, so if you go into the lunchroom, middle school and high school, you know, it really was like Mean Girls at my school. There was the jocks and the cheerleaders. There was the arts kids. There was the hippie weird kids. There was the kids that's probably about to get expelled. There's the black kids. When I say that, it's because I went to a typically white high school, but it was somewhat of an art school, and they also had they're the only school in Milwaukee that I went to that was not a public school, but still allowed anybody to come based on their family's like income. You get what I'm saying? So they always had kids that probably were not able to afford it, but they made sure that they were there based on their grades. So, but I never hung out with anybody, honestly, that wasn't black. Now, my friends that I had like two good girlfriends from like grade school, middle school, and then we went to the same high school. They were both, one was Armenian and one was white. They always were in the picture, but nobody else has ever been in my life has not been of a different ethnicity. So I think the reason why people have the assumption like, oh, well, he's just trying to be this, or he's trying to be accepted by, the thing is when you're kind of kicked out from society because you're gay or you're feminine or you're like odd, you're going to relate to other people that feel that way. So naturally, of course, people of other ethnicities have always felt like that in America.
So now, you don't think that you're black?
No. Okay. That's why it says on my Instagram, I'm the flyest white bitch. So, I'm not albino. I have people think that I'm albino all the time. When I first hear that albino girl, oh yeah. No, I'm not albino. But that should let you, so that just lets people's mind, sadly, know that I've had at least probably 20 people ask me or Jamel or Tiffany Moreau or other people like, is she albino? Or even people that I'm best friends with from Milwaukee that live here, like, is she albino? Because they think that someone that's my ethnicity can't be in another community and be accepted. You know what I'm saying?
No, I definitely understand what you're saying. So now that when did you leave Milwaukee? How old were you when you left out of Milwaukee?
I was probably 22.
Right,
but
how
I've
old
been
are you
coming
now?
to Atlanta since I was like 20.
Okay, and then how old are you now?
30.
Okay, so you've been here for about 10 years.
I think next year we'll make it 10.
Okay, so 10 years. So you've been in Atlanta 10 years, and you know that the Atlanta culture is way different than the Milwaukee culture. When it comes out to the gay,
I will say it definitely is, to the point I kind of sound like I'm from the South a little bit. My accent has changed somewhat, or it's kind of melted together. The way I think about things, the type of food I like to eat, a lot of things have changed from living in the South. And I want people to get that clear that Atlanta is not necessarily a black city, it's a Southern city. But it is a very segregated city in a way as well. But when I moved here, I was already, when I met you, we weren't at a mixed club. We weren't at a white club that decided to have a black night. And I'm sure everyone watching, I'm sure people watching this like, what is he talking about? In most clubs, it kind of just has, there's not a club that's specifically like just anybody can come, to be honest.
No, it's black clubs and it's white clubs. Yes. And that's it. And it's Spanish clubs. Which I
think that's not a bad thing. It just is that's in Milwaukee, that's in Chicago, that's in everywhere. That just is the type. It's like a restaurant. So there's a Mexican restaurant. I'm sure I've never been to a Mexican restaurant and seen a Hispanic person sitting down eating. Have you been to a Chinese restaurant and seen a Chinese person sitting and eating that doesn't work there, or their family works there? It's kind of the same thing. But in Milwaukee, it was never a time. Once I started to become a teen and get older and go out and interact and go to after sets and parties and things like that, I never been to anything where I wasn't the only white person in the room. Like this is from like 14, 15 on up. Like we were sneaking in the clubs at like 15.
Now when did Parish A? When did that come around? When did Parish A be created?
I think I started referring to myself as Paris. So I have this tattoo. Can we see it? It's like a paw print. So that's where Chea comes from because that means cheetah. So me and all my friends, I had a group of friends. We all kind of worked at Forever 21, plus their friends became my friends, and it's probably like 8 of us. They used to call us the Cheetah Girls because we always used to come. They're just like me. In fact, they're worse than me. But we all would come. We would all have on matching outfits and do crazy stuff, and we're in the hair shows together. Like I told you, I've been doing hair shows since I was like 14 or 15, which is another thing as well. Like a hair show is not a, at least in the way we all know it, it's not necessarily a white person event. It's not made for white hairstylist culture. Honestly, they're not that creative. And the ones that are, they're not taking the time to embrace their community and do the shows.
Right.
So I think once I started, all of us became friends. Like they really, like to the point we were on the news at one point because they thought we were a gang. That's how bad it was. A gay gang. It was on the news. Secretly we were. But I think that's when that kind of developed, and it just didn't make sense for me to be in all these feminine clothes and labels and just a vibe, and it's like, oh, that's Matt. Even though everyone would, like, if I go there, no one's gonna call me Paris, except if they're just trying to be polite or they're kind of like new to me. Anyone that knows me from there is gonna be like Matt instantly. Like, hey Matt, like it won't even be to the point you would think that maybe I did transition. That's how fully people think of me as one person and one person now. Like I have friends, like people with this tattoo that will call me Paris all day on Instagram to their friends, but the minute I get with them, it's like, oh girl, Matt, you doing too much. Like, so that, I think that's when that kind of happened. Once I started becoming an adult, probably about 14, 15, 16, somewhere around there.
So Parish A was created in Milwaukee. It wasn't really here in Atlanta.
No, yeah, that was always, we always called ourselves the Cheas. I kind of the only one last standing that uses that name in the end of anything, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook or anything like that. But we always, honestly, that name also came about because we all had our girl names. So at one point, a lot of my friends, I would say four of them, hold on, Armani, Toy, Amore, Gabby, Chea. Okay, so 6 of them. It's probably more like maybe 10 or 12, but like 6 of them have transitioned. But growing up, we all were in drag, in geesh, messing with trade on the chat line, like all types of things, if we can just be real. And my name would be Paris. Gotcha. It wouldn't be anything else. So plus I'm white, Paris Hilton. I'm French, so it just all kind of, that's why I have the tattoo of the Eiffel Tower on me, a couple of different things behind it, but probably about 14, 15.
Okay. Now let's talk about your love and passion for fashion, because so obviously you had it back in Milwaukee, but when it comes down to, you have a very unique flair for street fashion, for people would say it's urban wear. So like how did all that, because when I met you, you were more, you were like just straight high fashion when I met you. And then, like I said, then they kind of transitioned to the streetwear.
Couple different things. And one of my best friends, Tiffany Monroe, you know her, of course, always tells me like, why don't you just dress like an old white lady again? Like, So a couple of things have changed the dynamic of my style. One, I'm getting bigger and bigger and bigger because I'm doing something that I need fat to work with. So you all can figure out what that is. I can't fit in Taylor suits, and I can't do, like there's certain things to hide in. Like when you first met me, I really was in like very weird jump. We have a picture. It's me, you, Lawrence, Chloe Rich, Jam, London to Richelieu at Peter's Bar. And I have on like a full black crisscross in the back with a cape. Like, the weirdest. There'll still be, but I personally don't wear that stuff and have transitioned more to a different type of aesthetic in my style, just because of my body type at the moment, and because the person that was really making those clothes passed away. So from cancer, she got it the third time. Her name was Chanel. She died on 4/20, her favorite holiday at that. She was kind of the person that could take my ideas and make it to life. And because she's not here, I have other people I work with, but just to go to that type of level, plus also it's just kind of been done, like to the point now everybody, you can go in any little store and there's a little dress with a cape on it and whatever. So, but that version of me, I actually have something that I'm doing right now, get in the process to do, is going to come back. It's not going to be so, we can say urban. And I want people to know when I say urban, I think people think Black. That's not what that means, because if you're from an urban setting, like the suburbs is not urban. There's nothing about, no, I don't think anyone would think that the suburbs is urban. So when I say urban, I mean there's Asians in urban areas, there's Hispanics, there's Blacks, there's whites. Now, how we break that down, people do still comment, oh, you're white trash and all. White trash to me means, and I know Wisconsin has some white trash areas. That means hillbilly, trailer park home. Like, remember the girl in The Craft, the crazy girl, she lives with her family? Like, that's trailer trash. Me being urban or living in the hood, I don't think that that's trailer. Like, I don't know anyone in the hood that lives in a trailer. So, or they would take the trailer and they would go. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So, also too, with me working with predominantly female hip hop artists, I like to be able to, because I don't have many clients, and I am very skeptical about who I choose and who I don't choose to work with. I want them to feel comfortable, like it's not out of reach, that I won't understand their music or their vibe or not connect to it, or not be able to have a real conversation and figure out, when you're working with someone based on their look and trying to either make it elevated, upgraded, or just simply put your spin. A lot of people come to me not because they're not already look good, but because they like what I do on myself. So when K Michelle says to me, like, I'm gonna be fly, like that ain't fly, I'm gonna look like you, bitch. To me, I'll take it as a compliment, because that means that you feel like we could go in the same environment and be accepted. I'm sure there's many times that you being Black, gay, feminine, and a male have been in areas where it's kind of like, maybe they didn't get what I was trying to give.
Yeah.
Without them knowing you from Housewives and etc. And honestly, Housewives is the only show that I've seen someone that was a gay male, especially a Black gay male, maybe like one or two other little shows that didn't go nowhere, but that showed that you can be a guy, you can be feminine, you can be over the top and fabulous and all this type of stuff, and the world can see it. I don't know any other housewife shows that have that. If they do have a gay male on there, it's, it's a real downplay. Now, I do think that not to put it on you, I do think that they kind of started to make you guys out to be like kind of like the funny bone or something, or
And that's why we stopped.
just little stuff, zooming in on shoes, and like there's
Yeah,
no point in it. But I do like that they gave you all the platform to have your own show and have it be a big show that people really sit there and watch. Because was that on and Watch What Happens Live was on at the same time?
No, we right off the Watch What Happens Live.
Okay. So to come after a very big, like a lot of people sometimes only even watch. I know that if Housewives is not on or another show like on Bravo, I only watch What Happens Live. I don't want to see the other stuff they're showing at 8, 9, 10 o'clock. So to have their own big platform and have people, whether they want to read or make little funny memes, that all comes with the.
Yeah, but the thing is, they were watching, so that's all that matters.
And they were accepting the opinions that you were giving. And it still is relevant to you now. You could do that right now, and it still would be a success. You get what I'm saying? There's not anyone doing that.
So I'm gonna jump into a little bit more controversial things because because the thing is that yes, you are very fashionable, and when people see you, you have things that one, people can't get. Two, maybe it's like, child, it was only 2 of those in the world. How did Parish A get it? So so with you growing with your name, you're being in this community, you're growing in the community. Rumors of things start to happen. So now Parish A becomes a stunt queen. Parish A is a scammer. Parish A is this. Parish A is that. So, and I mean, you don't address any of the stuff, but these are the things that are moving around the community because they don't understand how you are getting or how you are doing and how you are or any other thing. So how does any of that affect you at all?
In the beginning, when I first moved here, I heard a lot of it. I heard, oh, she got sugar daddies. Oh, she's a stunt queen. Oh, her dad's the mayor. Which, if you know, the president don't even make that much money, to be honest. So I don't know why anyone would think a mayor makes a lot of money. Because the mayor of Milwaukee and me, we are related some way, somehow, but we have the same last name. That's right. It did affect me then, but now I think we live in such a world. I think people like Cardi B, just anybody that kind of lives. Tekashi 6ix9ine, he might not be the best example, but just people that live. I used to be very, very reckless growing up. I used to be a huge, well, you can look it up. I used to be a huge booster in Milwaukee. So anyone that doesn't know what a booster is, that means that you steal clothing from a store and you resell it for a lower price to people that don't want to go in the store and buy it. I'm talking about.
Child, people know, girl. When they come to the hair salon, we know what a booster is, child. They know what a booster is.
I'm telling you, I'm talking about big. I'm talking about $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 worth of clothes in one day, sitting in the back seat of the car because the trunk was already full from the day before. Furs, diamonds, and that's the thing. I do eventually will talk about all that. When I moved to Atlanta was because I needed a fresh start. All of my other friends moved here, and I couldn't because I was on probation. So that's why I think everyone's like, oh, well, she's always doing this. No, I kind of learned from those mistakes. I've had a couple mistakes here, really, truly based on me hanging with the wrong people that were kind of doing what I was always used to and me helping them in some type of way, whether that was returning items for them. The only time I've ever been to jail here, except for like little dumb stuff, fights or no license or something, is I was returning something for someone that had stole a bunch of stuff from a store. Besides that, and a bitch snitched on me. So someone Tekashi 6ix9ine me, but I took this journey to come here and really have a new start. So that's why when people are like, oh, she does this and does that, I'd be like, y'all don't even know the half of the things I've done. That's just the stuff that we can talk about.
Right.
So like I said, they really thought that me and my friends were a gang. So that means fighting, blowing up stuff, running people over. I done seen shootings, all types of very, very reckless things looking back that were not the right choice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I want people to understand too. It's like, oh, well, why are you so, or you're a culture vulture, or you're not, you want to be black, or let me explain something. I've done lived a very, very reckless, crazy life. Everyone around me was not my ethnicity, but I was still treated from whether it was jail, court, officers, the same way. It
Mm-hmm.
never was like, oh, because you were white, you got to pass. No, they like I used to get pulled over all that. I used to have a little white Ford Taurus, but I didn't have plates because I didn't have a license. It didn't matter that I looked like an old white lady driving that car. They were coming and getting me every time. And it didn't help to the point, even one time I got pulled over and the officer asked, "Are you okay, sir?" I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I didn't know if you were being held hostage or." I said, "What do you mean?" He was like, "Because you're in the car." I said, "What, with who, black people?" He was like, "I didn't want to." I said, "No, I'm perfectly fine." I said, "I ain't got a license. I don't know you're gonna take me to jail. So let's do this." And actually they do. So you're gonna let their black selves take this car and go about their business, and you about to take me, my white self. So come on.
Mm.
So Milwaukee is a very, very segregated, um, very controversial place when it comes to race.
Mm-hmm.
Literally in the summertime, there's at least someone gets killed at least every other day
Mm-hmm.
in that type of environment. But if it were to be white people getting killed every day, I bet you there wouldn't be no more deaths. There
Mm-hmm.
would be something they would do to lock it down and shut it down. Just to be honest.
Mm-hmm. So now you're here. You're in
Oh,
Atlanta.
so and then now with me styling and being an adult and all things like that, people I don't think people understand. Um, like I don't do stuff for free. I don't do stuff for a shout out. I used to in the beginning, but and that's why I want people with that are developing a brand. I know when you go on set, your day rate is gonna probably be what you can make in a week making off of clients.
Mm-hmm.
So my day rate is either 1,500 or 2,500. So if
Mm-hmm.
you see me with a pair of $5,000 boots, I got the receipts. I got drawers full of receipts with my name, paid cash or use my debit card. I don't now have I had somebody do some things for me before and get some things? Yeah, this is Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So I could tell you A-list celebrities that do the same thing. That
Mm-hmm.
buy stuff from boosters or scammers or whoever. That's just honestly the sad part about it is that is kind of just an Atlanta. It's everywhere, but that's a very big Atlanta thing. Not really anymore, but at one point, especially when we were really like out and about, it was very easy to have anybody do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, have I had some sugar daddies? Yes, I have. Have I gave them some sugar? Yes, I have gave some sugar. I'm okay with that. But is it anything over the top or anything I could go to jail for or no?
Mm. Okay.
So if that answers the question, I hope it does.
Yeah, I mean that answered the question. That I mean that did answer the question. The thing. So what we want to get what people want to know from the question is: Are you scamming now to get
No,
your things? No.
no, no. And a lot of the things that I do have that I buy, there's no way of scamming them. So if I have on the vintage Dior Galliano necklace that Foxy Brown wore in her "Oh Yeah" video in Jamaica, you're not going to be able to scam that. Like, I mean, maybe you could, and if you could, hit me up. But besides that, there's just certain things you have to be smart with your money. Also, too, when you collect items, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you have probably over damn near 100 pairs of heels.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's time for you to throw something on, it'll be time. I think people think because we're so over the top or so extra or fabulous, like a lot of the things I wear, like you said when you first met me, that was me getting fabric from Joanne Fabrics and having her make it. And me
Mm-hmm.
getting a pair of YSL shoes from Neiman's on sale for $280, and they're the last pair. And I made her hit them in the back for 2 weeks, and I wanted them to be even more cheaper. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think people don't realize if you are someone that puts themselves together nicely, you also know how to shop nicely.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the people that can go out and just say, "Oh, just charge my card 10,000," They don't really be looking like nothing. Besides maybe Marjorie and Marlo and a couple other people, they don't be looking like nothing.
Mm-hmm. So now that you are involved, like I said, well, so you are in with the Black community. So we just assume that so it's safe to assume that you date Black men.
Yes.
and,
I knew it was coming. I knew it.
and do you get a lot of backlash from that? Because we like to keep our Black men for ourselves, child.
Do I get backlash? No.
Mm-hmm.
But do I get like I don't have people the same way how I see a lot of women saying things on like the shade room, like all these beautiful sisters, and you had to go get you the white woman or whatever that may be. I don't get that, but I definitely know that I'm attracted to all men. I didn't used to be. I definitely am all races.
Mm-hmm.
But what I prefer is typically someone that's urban, that's Black or mixed. And when I say urban, I just mean that they're hip and cool and not uppity.
They have a swag about themselves.
Yes, because we relate. Because and the funny thing is, I have a lot of, not a lot, but I have guys that have always tried to talk to me, Black men that are only into white males, and and they're kind of square. They're kind of, in my mind, maybe it's because not that that's not what they're generally attracted to, because everyone has a preference. I don't care what you may say you do. Everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how you choose to not give people the opportunity is where comes the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can have the opportunity with me. So, but what I prefer is just someone that can accept me. Because if we get in the car and I turn on my phone, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm about to play some music for you, da 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 da, whatever, and I'm playing some Foxy Brown or something. They're gonna be like, what is this? Like, I need someone that I can relate to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very funny that people make the assumption like, oh, you're white, so that means I actually don't like dating people of my race, because a lot of them just don't have the same similarities as me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to the point that we could go into, and not that people just hit on me all the time, because that isn't happening at all, but we could go somewhere that's a white club in Atlanta, and they'll act funny to me instantly.
Mm-hmm.
You've never seen me at a white. We might go to Berghart's or something,
right?
And that's just because they make better drinks, but
Mm-hmm.
stronger drinks. Besides that, I don't feel comfortable, and I think that a lot of them don't feel comfortable with me either. I think they would think, oh, he's a performer. Every time I go to a white gay club, oh, you perform? Oh, where you perform at? Or what you do?
Well, because you do be up in costume, honey. You have a full.
Yes, I be in full on regales.
Yeah, right. You give head to toe everything.
So, but and that's the thing. I think people think that I'm just oblivious. I understand everything. I understand that I'm white. I understand that I'm feminine. I understand that I have all this stuff on. Especially now, I've developed to start really playing with like hair and makeup. And like when you met me, I was like powdery white, red lip, always a blonde swoop. A la Nene Leakes. And like that was it. There wasn't nothing to it. Now that the beauty world has grown more and I've grown with it, I don't mind playing with it a little more. But that's how I understand people may think like, oh, this is a costume. But that just lets you know that the white community doesn't have many references to someone being feminine and being a male, how we are, how the Black community does. I personally don't know another white queen that's feminine, but is still considered a boy, unless they are literally like in drag, full on RuPaul's Drag Race, padding, hips, wigs, lashes out to here. Like, that's not what we do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know someone that's white that that is like that. I'm not saying there isn't out there.
Mm-hmm.
I just personally don't know anyone that's white and that's feminine like us, basically a guy in heels, literally walking around if they haven't already transitioned, or they go and they wipe it all off at night and they're just a drag queen, a real life drag queen. Like, we're not performers. I've never done a drag show. I actually don't like drag shows, to be honest. So
let's go back into your dating. So because I guess I've never, well, I guess I wouldn't know, but when we see each other out, when I see you out and about, like, I never see you booed up or loved up on anybody while in the public. So so being that you are a popular figure and you are a little, or you are not a little, you are over the top when it comes to being out. Is it hard for you to date? And do men find you intimidating to date? And are you dating now?
okay, people definitely find me intimidating. Um, I'm gonna talk from the point of me dating gay males, and then we'll talk about the me possibly dating someone that's considered straight.
Gotcha.
I'm sure you've talked about that on this type of platform before.
Mm-hmm.
Probably with like T.S. Madison and.
Well, we didn't get. No, we didn't get this deep.
Okay.
Into it.
Okay. As for me dating gay males, it's definitely intimidating. So that's why people think, oh, because you're white, that's another layer to it being intimidation,
Mm-hmm.
because you may not know how I'm gonna react. A lot of people now, when you're 30 and over, it's like, well, they want to bring you to your family, and you want to, Instagram too. People want to take pictures and do this and do that. It's like, who's this white boy with these heels on?
Mm-hmm.
It would be a very hard thing for someone to accept that. I've dated while living here. There's 3 people I would consider I have truly dated. I would say that I've been in love with. Um, Not that, and being in love is fine. I think people misconstrue being in love with being your soulmate. Have I met my soulmate? No. Have I been in love? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Capricorn. It's very hard for you to get into me, like in here. But once you're in there, you're stuck.
Mm-hmm.
So you remember all the crazy times before with the first boy, and um, he went to prison twice and got my name tattooed on him, and all types of stuff, and me holding him down, and it just kind of not really working out, and being like a dead, what is it called? Being a dead horse, or
Beating a dead horse. Uh-huh.
yeah, and I'm a big horse, so that horse was getting whooped, baby, because it just wasn't worth it in the end.
Mm-hmm.
I think that gay men are very intimidated by someone that's feminine, even though technically, I think every gay male has masculine and feminine qualities.
Mm-hmm.
If you see me on a regular, I'm not about to be in Louboutin thigh highs and fur coats to the like. Now, if I had the ability to, money wise, because I had a reason to be as well, like really like booked and going places or appearances or speaking engagements or something, or photo shoots, then yes, I probably would be Lady Gaga every day.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not realistic.
Mm-hmm.
So now, in the last couple of years, I've definitely been embracing more of my masculine side.
Mm-hmm.
But then too, that makes it even harder some people, because a lot of gay males think that I'm trans. They think, like, I'm sure maybe when you met me, you might have thought, oh, she about to transition,
Well,
or
I actually never thought you was transitioning,
okay.
because the thing is, because I understood your zhuzh, so I never thought that you were really transitioning.
Especially when, 12 years ago, 14 years ago, we probably met like 12 years ago, to be honest. I didn't really see anyone wearing heels as a boy. I mean, me, you, Derek, Lawrence,
Mm-hmm.
then I moved to Atlanta and I met a couple of Jam 300 and Chloe Rich Shoes and Jonte.
Mm-hmm.
And then also he is an actual performer.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that goes into the performance aspect. I'm not a performer. I'm not about to get up here and no.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that has a problem too, that people now start to see a little bit more masculine side. Some of the boys I've dated, and they're kind of like, the last person I dated, they had dated someone that was trans. They started talking to me. We got along great, super easy to connect with right away. He would be like, well, what are you about to do? Like, you need to be one or the other. So you about to be a boy?
So you
or
haven't
you about to be a trans?
So you haven't felt it hard. So you've dated gay men that are okay with you being femme. You understand what I'm asking?
They've all been okay, because when you meet me,
it is what it is.
You don't know what it is right away.
Well, I'm saying, but you met gay men in the gay atmosphere, like in a club or somewhere. You've had.
Oh yeah, we all meet gay guys, and maybe it's just one night, and they're all over you and buying you drinks and being flirty and treating you like you the fish.
Right.
But they don't realize that this is how it's going to be when we go out to Twist or something. Well, that's closed, but just
if you go to a restaurant or somewhere, this is what you're giving.
Yeah, to the point. That's why maybe I have become more comfortable deep down being somewhat more masculine, so that it's not as intimidating. Mm-hmm. But in the end, it kind of has made people just the person I kind of chit chat now, he gets me. He's always gotten me. But I think it has been a problem. Like, either you're too feminine all the time, or then it's like I see you as a boy, and it's like, that ain't what I'm used to. Mm-hmm. So it can be very, very. That's why when people go, "Oh, why don't you transition? You'd be so much happier." And let me tell you something. These dudes, straight or gay, they're gonna wear you out if you trans. They're gonna wear you out if you're feminine. I know so many masculine acting, pretending to be masculine guys. They have the worst problems more than any of us. Mm-hmm. So how I look at it now, it took me a long time to. I don't fully love myself, but I probably am like 85% there.
Well, you know what? You jumping to the front. You jumping to the end already, but
okay.
Well, that's because that's the question, right? But no, but we can do it right here. We can do it right now, because that's the question I asked. I said that when you the last question of the conversation is, when you look into the mirror and you can say, "I love Parish A," from 1 to 100, where would you stand at? So, okay. So now you can go into that.
I personally do love myself 100%. Mm-hmm. But when people that you feel like you're giving your 100 to, and they're giving you less than that, mm-hmm. It will make you question. It will make you want to change things. It will make you want to necessarily act somewhat different. But the thing that I always have to realize in my head is that no one's going to be able to be me, and that when all this is said and done, it's not going to be about who you was effing on. It wasn't going to be about who you dated. It's going to be about who you inspired. So that the more that my platform grows of people, and that's the thing, I see a lot of people who instantly in a year, it's like they're famous on the world and Instagram and TV and social media. And I would rather mine be a slow but steady journey, because as we know, slow and steady wins the race. Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to be famous. I'm not trying. That's why I tell people, I'm just being me. I've been me since you met me. Mm-hmm. It's a long time ago. There's nothing different. Some things might have become more refined or polished, but as well, that only just causes more stress and more, how do you go to the next, or how do you reinvent yourself, or how do you upgrade even more? I'm not perfect. I don't think I'm perfect. I see a lot of people that they're very confident in the sense, like they'd be like, "Oh, I know I'm the shit." I personally don't feel like that. So if I give you the impression when you see me, I'm sure a lot of people have a very intimidating impression when they meet me. Like, Even when you probably met me. Well, no, because I think we connected instantly. But other people, I'm sure, have told you, like, oh, she thinks she too much, or oh, she be acting like she better than, or she be acting stuck up, or she don't be speaking, or no, I'm just kind of more introverted, and I don't like to have a lot of people in. And my mom always told me, you don't got to be friends with everybody. I don't even have to be nice to everybody because I don't expect people to be nice to me.
Mm-hmm.
But you can, but I've never been disrespectful to nobody until you make me go there. Then that's gonna turn into a whole different thing. Then we gonna
Well,
be Nene and Kim. Besides that, I can be very normal and sane and take a step back. I don't really show all of my life because I don't like people to be too to feel like they know me too much. So
mm-hmm.
that's why I do kind of like The Devil Wears Prada, Miranda Priestley. I do kind of relate to Samantha, Sex and the City. I do relate to characters like that because um, they have such a strong wall up for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Because when people hurt me or they use something against me or I do let down the wall and then they throw me over it, which has happened in basically every relation to the point every person I thought I ever dated will say, well, if you ask them now, they'll be like, we never dated. I'd be like, okay, so what is dating then? Can you define it to me? Did we go on dates? Did
Mm-hmm.
you sleep in the bed with me? I don't even care about sex because if that's the case, there'd be a lot of people out here that have dated a lot of people just
Mm-hmm.
based on who they've had sexual encounters with. Have we got to know each other? Have I got to know your family? Have you seen me cry? Have I seen you cry? Have we been through hard times together? Have we made money together? Have we figured out plans and dreams and goals? Have we traveled together? Well, girl, I don't know what it is then. What is that? Can you let me know? Like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah, no, I had
more
that
do you
experience.
want?
I was dealing with somebody for a year and a half, and I was like, "What are we doing?" He said that we were friends, get to know each other. I
Was
said,
this a couple of years ago?
"No, no.
Okay.
Yeah, no, but no." But I was like, "What do you mean we friends getting to know each other?" Chad, what are you talking about? So, and I felt the same. Which I was like, "Well, what is dating if this is not what dating is?"
And I think too, people in the gay community, especially in Atlanta, have a very big problem with, and I have some friends that are the most beautiful trans women in the world, some of the most flyest getting money. I mean, you have your shit together. You are one of the, I always tell you, what do I always tell you? Like, you are the only people I know in Atlanta that is 100% legit. Or at least you gonna think it's legit. Like everyone else always has some extra baggage, or is up to something, or is
Mm-hmm.
on parole, or just whatever. It's like, I think that out of all of that, I've seen everyone go through the same thing if they're feminine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's disappointment. That's people feeling like we can connect so hard up here. The three people that I thought I was in relationships with or dated, I'll say dated, not relationships. I never had real sexual intercourse with them
Mm-hmm.
because that wasn't what I needed from you.
Mm-hmm.
I needed something bigger and better than that.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, some of them bigger. so, so, but it's like want, if you want a boy, then why even entertain me? You know that I'm feminine. You know that I got on heels taller than your mama has ever worn. You
Mm-hmm.
know that I switch up my look like, uh, Cardi B switches up her wigs. So
Mm-hmm.
what do you mean? You know all of this. So then don't entertain me if you just want to waste me.
Mm.
And that's where I'm kind of at now. That all those things have those three moments of my life with three different people. They all were similar. They all kind of ended the same. And people will be like, well, that means that you doing something. Are you? No, you know what? And it's not even because they're all very different people. It just lets me know that me being me is going to always be my pro and it's going to be my con.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to find someone that's genuinely not intimidated, not embarrassed, and not uncomfortable with that.
Mm-hmm.
because even there's a whole other layer to it. So us being popular or well known, you can't kind of go nowhere. And I'm sure you get it way more than me. I was just at the grocery store, a whole mask on, gloves, a hat, a workout outfit. The lady was checking out. She looked again and was like, ah, in the grocery store a couple of days ago. I was like, Corona? Like, what's going on? She was like, I know you. And she came up to give me a hug. I was like, coronavirus. Like, hold on. So I still gave her a hug, whatever. She was like, oh my gosh. She's like, I never thought I would met you. And I lived in Atlanta all these years. And da 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 da. And I was looking like, I don't understand how someone could deal with this. If they were dating me, they would be looking like,
yeah, that's a whole nother story to even talk about. It's not easy.
Now I see why, even if it's not maybe the most best relationship in the world, I see why, and I don't consider myself a celebrity. I do consider myself to be well known or popular. Now, does that mean I'm well liked? No. But I do see why people that are in that type of world date each other, because they don't have to deal with explaining it. It's very hard to explain, like, you go somewhere and everyone wants a picture with you. Whether they're being funny or they simply, you inspire them, you like, because I'd be like, how does a 80 or 58-year-old woman with 4 kids want to take a picture of me? What is it that's so appealing about me that would make, like, that just means that you deal with me. Like, you're inspired, or you live, or whatever you want to call it, that you care about who I am as a person. And I don't think other people like to see you get that type of attention.
No.
Because I don't ask for it. So it's not like I'm if Instagram, social media, clients, whatever, all went away, I would still be, if we had to all go to the club tomorrow night and there was no Instagram, no nothing, no Snapchat, no media, no, oh, you get to skip the line because everyone know you, whatever, I would still be the same person. I would still take the time out of my day to go and do this and get my hair, my wig put on and glued, and then I got to go to someone else to style because that bitch don't know how to style wigs that glue it on, and go get my makeup done. Got to stop at Walgreens and get a Red Bull and some lashes because I forgot, and then put my outfit on. And let's not forget to stop at the mall and pick up our shoes because we had to get the taps replaced. That's a lot of work. I don't think people realize, like, we would all still, I know for certain that you and Lawrence would all be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
It wouldn't change. So
now, knowing what you know now, if you can look back and talk to 14-year-old Parish A, that was before she got ready to do all the stuff she was doing, what advice would you have gave her?
Have a better relationship with your family, especially my mom. We had a really close relationship, and then it got really bad. She went to prison and all types of, another story, another time. Have a better relationship with your parents. Know that just because you're friends with people and you have goals does not, together as a group, I'm sure young growing up, you all had like your group of friends, oh, we're going to do this and we're going to go there. It doesn't happen like that. A lot of people from my past feel like I never once stopped changing in my mind that we should all be together. Like, all my friends know how to do hair, do makeup, talk to somebody, be someone's assistant. This could be so easy to just put it all together and should be millionaires or have, like something. It would be so easy. And then as well, just really choose wisely the company that you keep. Just because you may love someone or you like someone does not mean that you need to help them grow, because they might stop your growth. And that's probably the things I would say.
Well, Paris, thank you so much. I feel like I've learned so much about you tonight that, like I said, we never get to talk like this. So the being able to get to know who you are better and get to understand why you are who you are. And I really appreciate that.
I had a good time. Thank you. I
So,
told you I was like, it's gonna be deep. I said, and we didn't even really get into the
no, we didn't
deepest.
get into it because I know we can stay here for about another hour, but so I'm gonna break you down, but stay right here for me, okay?
Okay.
So, you guys, everybody asked and everybody wanted to know, and we was able to get to know Parish A little bit better, and know where she came from and how she became the person that she is. So, this is what Gay Like Me is about. It's about talking to people to normalize and humanize who we are as people. So I will see you guys next week with another episode of Gay Like Me Live and a new person to talk to. I don't know who it is yet because I haven't booked them yet, but I will see you guys later and thank you for watching.